iOS 17. All information, features, release date and beta development that you need know. At a glance, Apple's iOS 17 update is in development and will see a preview at WWDC with a launch to follow in September 2023. iOS 17 overview. We're still months away from the June unveiling of the iOS 17 operating system, but we know a limited amount of information about the update because Apple is already working on the software. According to Bloomberg's Mark Gurman, iOS 17 will include some of the most requested features that users have been wanting, so it may be more significant than was initially thought. Apple initially aimed to make iOS 17 a tune-up update focused on fixing bugs and improving performance, but now it will include several nice-to-have features. It won't, however, have a tentpole feature like the revamped lock screen we saw in iOS 16, as Apple has focused a lot of its resources on development of the XROS operating system designed to run on the AR/VR headset. There is no word as of yet on what these most requested features include. iOS 17 features. Support for the mixed reality headset. Apple's AR/VR headset will function on its own and will have its own app store, but there will likely be some level of integration between the headset and the iPhone, even if it's limited to handoff. All of Apple's products interact with one another in various ways, and so we are expecting new headset-related features in iOS 17. CarPlay updates. At the 2022 Worldwide Developers Conference, Apple provided a preview of a new CarPlay experience that has deeper integration with vehicles, allowing for car functions like volume and the radio to be controlled through CarPlay. Apple also plans to add widgets and support for multiple displays. The first vehicles with next-generation CarPlay integration are set to come in late 2023, which means that support will likely be built into iOS 17 or an iOS 17 update. Support for sideloading and alternate app stores. European legislation requires Apple to allow for sideloading starting in 2024, and Apple is planning to make changes starting in iOS 17. Customers in Europe may be able to download apps without using the App Store, with Apple forced to let people use alternate app stores. Developers would not need to pay Apple's 15 to 30% fees for apps that customers install using alternate means, but Apple still plans to collect a fee. To start with, the sideloading changes will be limited to customers in the European Union, but as other countries pass legislation similar to the Digital Markets Act in Europe, Apple could expand the functionality. The major changes that have to be made to implement sideloading support could potentially impact development on iOS 17 because of the engineering resources required. Third-party browsers without WebKit. Along with permitting third-party app stores, Apple in iOS 17 could allow third-party browsers to use their own engines by eliminating the WebKit requirement. Right now, third-party browsers like Chrome and Firefox must be built with Apple's open-source browser engine WebKit on iOS devices per Apple's rules, but Europe's Digital Markets Act prohibits Apple from forcing browsers to use WebKit. Apple could make these changes solely in Europe, and it is not yet clear if the WebKit requirement will be lifted worldwide or just for browser apps developed for use in Europe. Beta limitations. With iOS 16.4 and iPadOS 16.4, Apple changed the way that developer and public betas are installed on the iPhone and iPad. Profiles are no longer used to install the updates, with Apple instead requiring an Apple ID linked to either a developer account or an account that's been signed up for the public beta. This move will prevent non-developers from being able to install the iOS 17 beta through a shared developer profile, as every installation will be authenticated through an Apple ID associated with a developer account. iOS 17 release date. iOS 17 will be previewed at the Worldwide Developers Conference in June 2023. After WWDC, iOS 17 will be made available to developers for testing purposes, with a public beta likely to come out sometime in July. Following the beta testing period, iOS 17 will see a launch in September 2023, alongside new iPhones. iPhone 15. Information, features and design that you might like to know. Design. Rumors suggest the iPhone 15 models will look similar to the iPhone 14 models, but the pill and hole cutout will expand to the entire lineup. That means all iPhone 15 models will have no notch, instead adopting the dynamic island introduced in the iPhone 14 Pro models. As there are no major design changes in store, Apple will continue to offer 4 models: the 6.1-inch iPhone 15, the 6.1-inch iPhone 15 Pro, the 6.7-inch iPhone 15 Max, and the 6.7-inch iPhone 15 Pro Maximum. The Pro models will have higher-end features and will be more expensive, while the standard iPhone 15 models will be cheaper. Color options. The iPhone 15 models could be available in dark pink and light blue color options. Apple often offers the standard iPhone models in a range of bright colors, and this year is no exception. The bright pink and blue shades are likely to be available alongside standard black, white, and product red color options. iPhone 15 Pro exclusive design. While all iPhone 15 models are going to adopt the USB-C port, there are some design changes that are exclusive to the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Maximum. Rumors suggest the iPhone 15 Pro models will feature thinner, more curved bezels than the iPhone 14 Pro models, which can be seen in renders of the device created based on circulating details. These deeper curves will be limited to the iPhone 15 Pro models, and the iPhone 15 models will look like the iPhone 14 models with flatter edges, an aluminum frame, and a glass front and back. A-series chips. The iPhone 15 Pro models are expected to be the first to feature an A-series chip built on Apple supplier TSMC's next generation 3nm node. 3nm chip technology is expected to increase processing performance by 10 to 15%, while also reducing power consumption by up to 35%. The faster chips will be limited to the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max, while the iPhone 15 and iPhone 15 Plus will adopt the 4nm A16 chip that was first used in the iPhone 14 Pro and iPhone 14 Pro Max.